Hi guys, this is Rusty 78609 and I'm in Carrizozo, New Mexico, and I'm at the Visitor Center, which is run by the Chamber of Commerce, and this lady is a volunteer that runs the Visitor Center, and her name is Gwendolyn, and she is English in background, and she's a very interesting lady, and so I thought I'd just do a short video and let her tell us about her life. And I'll say first, Gwendolyn, what brings you to Carrizozo?
Well, as I mentioned, as a musician, I'd moved around a lot. I was born in Northern California, and then I've been on the East Coast, New York City, working with dancers, making music, cello and piano and drums and singing and all. And over in Europe and in Alaska and Hawaii and parts of Canada. And at this age, I wanted to retire, quote unquote, not die, but just not run around like a mouse in a cage, or something.
The hamster wheel.
A hamster wheel, right. So I wanted to live in a place unlike any I had lived before. And a friend called me up. She and her husband had moved to Carrizozo. This is when I was living in Rome, Georgia. And I said, where? I'd never heard of Carrizozo. She said, well, and she told me about it, and she said, I told her I wanted to move to someplace different. She said, well, come on over and stay a few days, see if you like the town. I did that in 2012, between Christmas and New Year's, and at that time, the house I'm presently renting came available, and it was perfect for me, so I wanted to move here. And I've not regretted 1 minute of it, but it really takes it has unique beauties and unique opportunities if you're a self-motivated person, if you know yourself, and people will either leave you alone if you want to be left alone, or they'll come visit if you want them to. So it's kind of laid back, slow. We only have around 1,000 people here, but we have a garden club, of which I'm a volunteer as well, and we have people who have come to live here that bring their life experiences, as well as those who have lived here all their lives, and they have their life experiences. So it's as interesting as you can make it, but you don't get entertained. Although we do have some classical concert series, which brings the highest quality of musicians, and the concerts are free because there's a lady here in town named Elaine Brannon who's in charge of those concerts, and she is able to get funding through grants. So, of course, musicians get paid, but we who live here can go and have a A-plus concert for free. Totally amazing.
You said, apparently you have a musical background and you play a cello, is that correct?
Cello and piano and drums and sing.
And
I improvise. Well, my very special talent is that of improvisation, making up your own music on the spur of the moment.
No kidding.
And for 35 years I earned my living improvising for American modern dance.
Now, was that vocal or just?
With cello, piano, voice, drums, depending on what they were doing and which sounds I thought would help them do it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, did you come from a family of musicians?
Not really. My grandmother played a little violin, but my mother loved classical music. Actually, so did my father as far as listening.
Right.
And my mother was a dancer, so she gave me a love for dance, but I was already a musician from the age of 3 or 7.
Was this
This was in Northern California,
okay.
Santa Rosa. That's where I was born.
All right.
I'm a Northern Californian as far as where I was born.
And you mentioned that you lived in New York for several years?
A decade.
For 10 years?
10 years, 67 to 77. Not only that, the reason I stayed in New York is there were a lot of dance companies, and they needed live musicians at the time. They didn't just use a squawk box or...
Right.
Yeah. So 1 year led to 10, and I have a lot of famous places. Not only that, I studied cello with one of the most famous cellists in the entire universe, Pablo Casals, over in Puerto Rico in 1967 when I was 27, one of 14 from around the world. And that was a height for my classical training. But you see, my real talents I needed to learn classical music, and I love it. I love it. And yes, I do read notes on paper, but my specialty is improvisation, because not only me doing it, that's egotistic and it's fine, and it's keeps my mind jumping in the sense of flexible. But I'm writing a book now that I hope everybody who reads English will be able to not only understand, but use in their own life, because improvisation is an anti-boredom avenue of life. And so if you learn to put a different top with a different bottom in your clothes, or you learn to try a new spice in some cooking, or etc., just daily stuff. If you have not a fear of improvisation, you are led to endless possibilities, and that's certainly anti-boredom. And not only that, it gives you much more frame of reference, and I want the world to benefit by it, not to play like me, or not even to have anything to do with music, but to have a flexible, creative mind, so that they see that there's more than one way to do practically anything.
Would you agree then that variety is the spice of life?
I think you could use that sentence. Well, yes.
Yeah, because you've lived a very varied life.
Absolutely. Well, you see, if I stop wanting to control everything, which I can't do anyway.
I understand.
If I stop wanting to control everything, then other hunches or other insights can appear and say, well, how about trying it this way this time? And if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. What people fear in improvisation, I won't go on long about this,
Sure,
but it's
go
my
ahead.
favorite topic.
Go right ahead.
What people fear in improvisation is you don't know what you're going to do before you start, and there's no particular right or wrong. So then you don't know. You're so used to either being told that you're doing something wrong or that you've succeeded, that if you don't have those guidelines and you're going with the process of like a flower unfolding naturally, then that's totally different than a product, making a pen. I mean, that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with a product. But improvisation is not focused on making a product or arriving at a certain goal. It's the walking along the riverbed and the riverside, and just seeing how the day unfolds. You're living an improvisatory life now, too.
No.
And many people do, and they just don't even use that word, though, or else they're terrified that maybe they'll make a mistake. And we have to get through that.
You're talking to my heart.
We have to get through it, meaning if we can set aside judging ourselves when we're trying something new, all kinds of new things will come to us. And you always can go back to what you like before, or what you know. You don't have to stay out in that limbo land. But if you get used to enjoying it, then you're much richer.
Yes.
So much richer.
Totally agree.
Now you know all about me.
Well, that's a lot, but I have to say this. There's a little philosopher in you, and of course, the years make people wiser, and you're certainly very wise. I mean, I think do you have a title for your book yet?
Well, I decided to answer your question, it takes two answers.
Okay.
In 2006, I wrote a book whose title was Improvisation is a Way of Life. And I did the best I could writing it. But it was academic. I've taught in colleges, and now that I see it, it has some good points in it, but it's not the kind that is going to reach the person driving in the car. So I decided not to use the word improvisation in the title, even though my desires were similar, is to share the absolute value that improvisation can be for every human being who will embrace it. And so the title I'm using is Sea Tides. I made it up, Seatides, Sea Tides.
I like it.
And I love the water. I love the ocean, and we're made up of a lot of liquid in us. And so I thought that the tides coming and going could, in a distant way, imply these improvisational insights that will come if we open the door.
Correct. Is this a book that you will publish
Yes.
in the
And-
near future, in the next year?
Probably in a year or a year and a half, because for the first time in my life, I have a collaborator, and I like that because I get feedback. And then I have someone who's offered to be an editor. This is also new for me because most of my life I've done everything all by myself, with the help, of course, of inspiration.
Correct.
So what's new is I have a team, and and there's a woman who has had a business, so she's good in business, and God knows that's one of my weaker points, you know. So I have the kind of propping up, like over in Santa Rosa, California, where I was born, we were famous for prunes, and talking about being propped up. If the prune tree had too many fruits, it would break the branches and they would all fall down. So they use sticks to prop up the limbs. And I feel like one of those trees symbolically right now because I have the kind of help I've never had.
Right.
So I'm writing, some of it is making reference to parts of my life as a bridge to get to someone else reading it and translating or transferring it into value for their own life. And I'm very excited about it, but it's in process, so it'll probably take another 4 to 6 months to actually write it, and then comes getting it out into the world, which I desperately need help. Not desperately, but dearly need help.
Well, Gwendolyn, let me say this. Of course, you're here in Carrizozo at the Visitor Center, which is open on...
We have volunteers Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, and some Sundays. And some Sundays I say because there isn't a consistent person every Sunday. We'd like to have as many people who will volunteer, but it doesn't seem that they're falling out of the trees.
No, that's not too many people. So you're here one day a week?
I'm here Friday and Saturday.
So you're here Friday and Saturday. So viewers, if you're in the area of Carrizozo and you see the little railroad caboose car parked off to the, I guess, west side of the main street coming through town, you will see a sign that says Visitor Center. And if you want to meet the most interesting lady that you have met in a long time, you come in and say hello to Gwendolyn. and
There's a blue burro out in front. We have burros.
Let me point around and see if I can get it. Yeah, I saw your guide to the burros. Let me see if I can get a little closer.
There are a lot of artists that live in this town.
Now this particular burro is named. Is there a name? Don't worry about it.
Go get it.
No, forget it. That's okay. It has a name.
And
though.
then we have a little game that'll lead you from one burrow to another. And
really?
Take a walking tour, yeah.
You can take a walking tour and see all the burrows?
This one is called Blue Sky.
Okay, this burrow is called Blue Sky, and there's a walking tour that she's handing me right now. I'll show you a copy of it. It says, "The Painted Burros of Southern New Mexico, the game, the Carrizozo Burro Serenade." And they've got 12 burros, and one of them got scratched out, so we're down to 11. And what you do, this is a walking map.
It's about a mile and a half all the way around the town.
Okay, a mile and a half all the way around Carrizozo.
And
So
these burros are not only on the ground, some of them are on top of buildings.
I saw them.
Around corners.
I saw
And
you.
if you check them all off and come back to the caboose, you get a prize. The prize is one free postcard.
Bully. Well, let me say this, Gwendolyn. I thank you very much for taking your time to visit with me and allow me the privilege of posting this video on my YouTube channel.
Could I give you the phone number of this
Sure. Go ahead.
575-648-2732. That will give you the Carrizozo Chamber of Commerce.
And
you can leave a message.
Okay, yeah, so if you want to contact the Visitor Center or Gwendolyn, then you call 575-648-2732, and you can, if no one answers, leave a message and someone will get back to you, and then when you come to visit this lovely little community, you can do the burros and life will be good. So now I'll end the video, and I'll say thumbs up, guys. Carpe diem, adios, bye-bye. Buy anything you want, but use the link to Amazon products if you choose to. There's no fee for using it. It's just that I'm an Amazon affiliate. Also, drink plenty of water. 3 or 4 quarts a day is almost mandatory out here in the West because it is very, very, very dry. What else? Oh, that'll help you avoid gout, kidney stones, and it'll also help you lose weight because you'll be full of water and you won't be hungry.
And
what
always
else?
carry a half tank of gas in this area.
Half tank of gas in this area. Also,
We
take.
don't have a lot of those.
There's not many gasoline stations, and they're very far apart. Also, take deep breaths. Breathe in deep, breathe out slowly. That relieves stress, and that'll lower your blood pressure. Is that good for you? Anywhere in the world. What else? Stretch your arms. Walk, walk, walk. Keep your body in motion. And what else? Most important, stand guard at the door of your mind, because what you let in are ingredients. And if you let negative Nancy or negative Ned get inside your head, then you have made a mistake. But anyway, live and in color from, here's the book she's writing. Oh, this is Gwendolyn's copy. It's called Improvisation as a Way of Life, Gwendolyn Marie Watson. So you can probably find this somewhere at a bookstore.
Yeah, Author House.
Arthur House. Let me spell that to them. You could actually find this at Arthur House. I'll post it right here. AUTHORHOUSE, all one word, Arthur House. Okay? And she's got a lot of information there. So anyway, that will repay her for all the good information she gave us. So thank you guys for watching the video. Enjoy your life one day at a time. Bye-bye from Carrizozo, and bye-bye Gwendolyn.